AI is doing something much bigger than just automating tasks. It's actually changing the very structure of companies. And we'll use the finance team as our main example to see exactly how this profound shift really works.
So you hear this question all the time, right? Is AI going to replace finance teams? But you know what? That might be the wrong question to ask if we really want to understand what's happening.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with a really common misconception about AI. Then we'll look at what a finance team really is, a decision pipeline. After that, we'll see how AI compresses that whole structure, what that new reality looks like, and finally, and this is crucial, how we're supposed to govern this new AI-first system. All right, first things first, we need to get past the way most people talk about this. The real story here isn't about AI replacing individual jobs. No, it's about a fundamental change to the entire system. So on one hand, you have the common way of thinking. AI is coming for the accountants and analysts. It's just automating tasks. But the real insight, the system-level view, is totally different. It tells us the unit of replacement isn't the role, it's the decision layer that role sits in. AI isn't just doing tasks faster, it's getting rid of the coordination costs, all that friction between the human layers.
And this next idea really just nails it. This is not about the automation of work. It is about the compression of structure. That is the key takeaway right there. Okay, so if we're going to really get this idea of compression, we have to think about a finance team differently. Let's forget about job titles for a second and start seeing it for what it is, a process.
And that process is what we call a decision pipeline. Think of a finance team as a system, right? Its whole job is to move information along, gathering data, checking it, making forecasts, and flagging risks. And the only reason these steps even exist is because of two things: delays in getting information and the uncertainty that comes with it. And here's the problem. That kind of human pipeline just doesn't scale well. Every time you add a new person or a new layer, you introduce more delays. Every handoff from one person to the next is a point of failure, a risk. And of course, everyone interprets the data a little differently. So what happens? Your costs don't just go up in a straight line, they explode as things get more complex.
And this is exactly where AI comes in. But it doesn't just make the old pipeline a little bit better. No, it completely replaces it. It shifts the whole process from these periodic stop-and-start decisions to something that's continuous and happens in real time. So how does it actually do that? Well, it just rips out the layers that caused all the problems. AI systems can pull in data live, not just at the end of the quarter. They can automatically fix inconsistencies. They can run thousands of what-if scenarios at the same time. And they can flag problems the instant they pop up. And this is so important to understand. AI isn't replacing the accountant as a person. It's replacing the need for a clunky, manual monthly reporting cycle. It's getting rid of the endless review meetings and all the human gatekeeping that created so much drag on the system. Okay, so when you compress the structure like this, you create a brand new reality for the organization. And we've got to be super clear about what's going away, and maybe even more importantly, what isn't. Look, AI can't be held accountable. It doesn't have strategic judgment, and it certainly doesn't have ethical responsibility. Those things, they're still firmly in the human domain. What AI does get rid of is all the mechanical stuff. The overhead of coordinating between people, the controls that only exist because of delays, and this whole idea of segmenting work by job title.
So what's the bottom line for the organization? Well, as you remove those structural layers, your headcount is going to go down. That's just a fact. But in its place, your decision speed goes way, way up. And so does transparency. The biggest change, though, is where control lies. It's not about managing people anymore. It's about designing and governing the system.
And that leads us to our last, and honestly, probably the most critical point. This new compressed AI-first model is incredibly powerful, but it also opens the door to completely new kinds of risks we've never seen before.
Let's be really direct about this. If you just swap out the old human structure for an AI system without building in proper governance, you are setting yourself up for a major failure. And we're not talking about small mistakes here. We're talking about increasing the systemic risk for the entire company.
And we know what the main points of failure are. The system's going to break if the data it's fed is garbage, fragmented or corrupt. It's going to fail if its goals are fuzzy or just plain wrong. And maybe the biggest danger of all, it will absolutely fail if the human leaders just throw up their hands, abdicate their judgment, and stop overseeing the system.
So we've kind of come full circle, but now we have a much, much better question. It's not, will AI replace us? No. As AI continues to compress our organizations into these powerful, incredibly fast, but also very brittle systems,
The one question that matters above all else is this: how do we govern the system?
This channel explains money, artificial intelligence, and decision-making as interconnected systems. No hype, no gurus, no personal branding. New videos weekly.